This is an episode of the Heads Podcast, a weapons and firearm podcast unlike any other. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing or checking out our YouTube page. Work the trigger. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Heads Podcast EP001.
Uno. We got Work and Builder here. We are here to spread all things firearms with you. This is more of an unconventional podcast where we're not going to give you a straight up list of like the 5 guns that we love or things like that. In fact, this one is quite the opposite. Literally.
It is.
This is the 5 guns that we hate.
Hate them.
That's right. We are starting off with as negative as we could possibly get with 5 guns we hate. So Builder has requested that I go first because apparently his first one is going to be rather frustrating for me. So I will indulge and start off with my number 1 gun that I hate is the Mosin Nagant.
What? That's your number 1?
Oh, no. This isn't in like an order or anything. Like this is just the one that I'm starting off with.
Oh.
No, do you have an order? Look at this guy overachieving. Look at him. No, I hate the Mosin Nagant. It is overrated. The people who swear by it annoy the ever-loving crap hole out of me. It's an acceptable gun for 70 years ago. But even 70 years ago, the reason that it got the hype that it got was because of the pure volume of them that were out there. It just so happens
like the Sherman tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Sherman was a horrible tank.
Yeah.
It just so happens that out of 5 snipers, 4 of them were running Mosin Nagants because there were just more of them out there. The only reason that it gets credit nowadays is because they're cheap and the ammo is cheap. The ammo is okay. It's nothing special. It's not better or worse than a 30-06. And they're not reasonably accurate. They're acceptable by the standards of 70 years ago, but by today's standards, they're almost a joke, accuracy-wise.
I've heard of a lot of people, not so much now, but 20 years ago, they would buy a case of 440 rounds of that ammo. They would pull all the projectiles and load them in 30-06. Same projectile, and then they get to shoot them in their .06.
Which is, I think, a better round. The .06 is arguably better than the 308.
I mean,
it's just a long action round.
Yeah, at distance, the 30-06 is definitely superior, but up close, you're just splitting hairs. I mean, it's utterly devastating between the 3 of them.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because I almost put on my list a straight bolt handle Mauser.
For what reason?
Because I don't like them.
So that's okay. That was relatively plain and simple. Okay. So what is your first one?
My first one on the list is a 2-parter. It is the first half is the FK Burno pistol. Because it's dumb. And the second half is the Lagua Alien.
Is it Lagua?
I don't know. Lugi Alien.
Luago.
Yeah, I really don't care. The Alien is super innovative and everything. Priced themselves out of the market.
Absolutely.
The Burno, it's innovative. It's a large pistol. They came out with a new round. As much as I want new rounds to actually work, and 357 SIG, not a new round, but it should have taken off.
Absolutely.
All these new rounds, they're not going to beat 9mm. 9mm is there to stay. And you can get the Burno in 9mm, but at that point, why not just get a CZ75?
Yeah, the Burno in 9mm is
big,
almost
really big.
It's a very, very large pistol, and it's almost just stupid to have. It really is. If you're going to run a gun, that'd be like getting a Glock 40 in 9mm. Yeah. Like that is just a gigantic gun for the round that it's shooting. And so, that doesn't make me mad at all. The Alien, I'm intrigued by it because of the engineering behind it, because it's nifty. But I have no yearning to actually own one for the price. If they were the same price as a normal gun,
it'd be a different story.
I would purchase one, $1,000.
I roll my eyes every time I see one because I'm like, woohoo, good for you. That is not an every man's gun.
No. Which, and I mean, you know, I'm going to talk about price a lot just in general because I'm a cheap ass, but that's one gun that I can see it having an exorbitant price tag, not $5,000 exorbitant price tag, but I understand why it's not $1,000 gun, but that also makes me not want one.
Yeah.
All right. So my next one is and Builder will feel this possibly, the Remington 597.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So this is this is a 22 this is a 22 rifle that the action is inconsistent. The recoil system it's weird. The way that the recoil springs are set up, it tends to tweak the bolt a little bit and just you don't get smooth reciprocation. And the magazines are atrocious. We live in a world where the 1022 exists. And in the world where the 1022 exists, you've got a high bar for semi-automatic 22s. And when the best that you can do is the 597, it's like when you're watching the high jump and the person jumps and like they twist their ankle and they go underneath the bar and just smack into the mat.
Yeah.
That's what Remington did with that one.
See, I had my own experience with the 597. I had a 17 HMR 597.
I forgot about that.
I got it when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I saved up all summer and I bought this because I wanted a 17 HMR, $350. It was
That's
sweet.
a good price.
I put a
Not for a piece of crap.
Yeah, put a BSA scope on it, and I bought 2 boxes of ammo with it, and I shot probably 20 rounds through it, and then Remington recalled it, and I got $200 Remington cash for it. They recalled it because the 17 HMR semi-autos across the board, not just Remington, the semi-auto 17 HMRs were freaking blowing up because of such inconsistency with 17 HMR ammo.
I didn't know the ammo had that big a problem.
500 feet per second different.
Wow.
In a little
Have they
bitty
fixed that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have semis now.
Yeah, because that was
Savage has that A17.
I'm guessing that was pretty early in the lifespan of that round.
2006. Yeah.
When did that round come out?
Not too
Around
much.
2006.
Not too much before that. So my second one, if you're done,
I am finished.
my second one is now the first one was a two-parter. This one is more of a generalization. A generalization around this Ruger LCP that I'm holding in my hand. Now, this Ruger LCP that I'm holding in my hand, if you're not watching the video of this for some reason, it's a beautiful raspberry color.
It's beautiful. It's not mine. I want to asterisk this. This is not mine. This is borrowed from someone.
But the problem with this gun, especially because they make it in this beautiful raspberry color, is
buy the purple one.
I would buy the purple one. For somebody who is an experienced shooter, it is a great backup gun. For the person that this is intended for, it is terrible. This gun is intended for a first-time buyer, probably a female. She's going to buy this gun. She's going to take it to the range. She's going to go, bang, ow, that hurts. I don't want to shoot it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Ruger LCP falls in this category. The LCP2 in 380 falls in that category. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguard falls in that category. And the Glock 27, also a very big thing with me, because it is not necessarily purchased a lot for females, but it is still a large, or at one point it was a large first-time gun owner's purchase. And you have a slight or a short sight radius, a little bit of grip, and a pretty potent little round to be jumping around in your hand for somebody to want to learn on. And I feel like the Glock 27 killed a bunch of people from wanting to shoot.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's first of all, I wish you had told me what the general concept was, because I have a Bodyguard 380 here.
That's okay.
It's too late now. Yeah, you don't want too much crap on the table, because then it's hard to clean off. But no, I totally agree with that. If you put too big of a round in too small of a gun and give it to somebody who is not a seasoned shooter, they're not going to enjoy the experience. And the problem is, like, when people are starting out shooting, they need to enjoy the experience. There's not a whole lot to be able to draw somebody back if they haven't caught that bug, and they're not going to catch it if they don't like it the first time they're out. If
you have a 6-inch Ruger Mark IV in 22, You take somebody to the range, and it's the first gun they shoot, and they have a 6-inch, the 6-inch barrel, so they have quite a bit of sight radius, or even better, you have a little optic on there. They're going to have a blast. They have a lot better chance of hitting what they're aiming at, and they're probably going to want to do it again.
Yep. Now, one gun in my mind that is technically in that category but stands out a little bit is the Glock 42.
It is a very pleasant 380 to shoot.
It is. It's despite
the SIG 238 falls in that category too.
Despite being, they're only slightly larger than an LCP, but that slightly larger size with Glock 42, I think it's the width of the back.
Mm-hmm.
It pads more. And actually, Ruger attempted to fix this in the LCP 2 2.0, their Gen 2, by widening the back strap on it. And then the SIG does that by using an alloy frame, so they get more weight and more heft on there to recoil around better. But then you run into the SIG 938, and you have the same problem.
It's a spicy little meatball.
It is.
Oh man, that is not a fun gun to shoot
because it's only slightly bigger than the 238, but you've got that 9mm round instead. So I'm actually going to piggyback on that one because mine kind of goes with that too. And mine is specifically the LCP Gen 1 and the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. So the reason that I'm specifying those two especially is, again, with the Gen 2, you've got that wider backstrap on it, so it's slightly more comfortable to hold. The biggest problem with those is the trigger pull. And this goes, again, back to what Builder was saying about those first-time shooters. This thing is pushed towards first-time shooters, and first-time shooters are notoriously not known for having good trigger discipline and trigger control. It's even when I'm pulling the trigger of an original LCP, I kind of suck.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of 380s in the dirt.
Yeah. So mine, the original LCP with that super long double action trigger pull combined with just the overall non-shootability of that round in a gun that size just turns me off, and I hate them. Mm-hmm. What's your next one?
That was your third one?
That was my third, yes.
My third one, and I guess mine are just generalizations. So, whatever. My third one is this right here. This is a pistol grip, 12 gauge pump action shotgun. This is from my house.
Notice how many of these we actually have access to because we own examples of
my
it.
Problem with that gun, and the reason I hate that gun, is kind of it goes along the lines of the LCP. You walk into the gun store, you say, I need a gun for home defense. What is the first thing everybody says? Pistol grip 12 gauge. Well, most hallways, I build houses for a living. You're in a house, even these big houses that I build, you're not going to have a shot more than 40 feet. At 40 feet with my 18-inch barrel, I'm not throwing a pattern this big. It's not a hip shooting thing. I'm throwing a pattern this big, 2 inches, 3 inches. I'll give you 6 inches.
Yeah, even if it was 6 inches.
So, and then on top of that, there is the plethora of cheap models, and there's inexperience that usually comes with it. And you think you can't break a pump action shotgun, or you think it's super easy to learn. You can short stroke them really easy, and then you're dead in the water.
I believe it's the Mossbergs that only have a single rail on the racking system, isn't it?
Mossbergs have double rail.
Two. The Remingtons do too. Maybe, I don't know what I'm thinking, but
the Mossberg Maverick has a single rail.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. And on those single rails, it's super easy to tweak them. Yep. And just lock the thing up. And I think these come from the movie world, especially back in the 1980s when the hip shooting machine guns was really cool in the movies, from Rambo to all of Arnie's movies.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have hip shot with this gun successfully. I have hip shot clay birds, but they're flying clay birds out of a clay bird thrower. So they're 25, 30 yards away. That's a completely, I mean, you're talking about a big spread.
you're talking a big spread and you're talking birdshot.
Yeah.
Buckshot does not do what birdshot does.
No. Buckshot does not behave like you think it's going to.
No, it goes way straighter than most of them do.
And it keeps going.
It does. Yeah, that's another thing that I've never understood with shotguns and people who push them for home defense. If you're like the majority of people that I talk to are concerned about over penetration to home defense, that thing's going through a wall.
Oh, that's going through several walls.
Yeah.
A 223 or 556, everybody thinks it's just going to go through all the walls. It doesn't happen. That bullet breaks up.
It either breaks up or it immediately veers. I mean, those things are made to tumble.
Yeah.
So they're inherently unstable. All right. So my next one is a specific gun, and it is this. This is a single action 22 revolver from Chiappa, the Italian company that makes the Rhino, and I don't know what else they make. I don't really care. They make the Rhino, which is a cool gun. This, however, not a cool gun. So the only thing cool that this gun does is this. It makes that sound relatively well. Everything else about this gun is just trash. It's not made well. The lockup is anything but tight. It's not accurate. The ejection rod like wiggles around in here. It's just a really badly made gun, which all in all, for a 22 revolver, you don't expect super great things, right?
Right.
But when a Heritage Rough Rider is $120 and this is $160, that's where the problem is. This is $100 gun.
I will say as well, just that particular gun, since you're talking about just that particular gun, the cylinder on this gun is substantially bigger than a Rough Rider, in the fact that it's probably the same size cylinder as the 9-shot Rough Rider, and this only has 6. So there's that.
My best guess with that is that the cylinder is based off of an actual full-size caliber. It looks
like it's to scale.
Cylinder.
Yeah.
Because I've got my next one here, and which is also a revolver, and it's in 357 Magnum, and the cylinder is actually larger on the Chiappa. So that's my number 4 is the Chiappa Rhino, or not the Chiappa Rhino, the Chiappa revolver in 22.
Okay. My number 4, again, it's a generalization. And
get this guy to be specific.
The gun companies have actually, they must share my same opinion on this. Because my number 4, I just wrote it down as overpowered cheap rifles. And by that, I don't mean this Remington 783. This Remington 783, it is, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a 783.
It's chambered in 308. I trust this rifle. I've read a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Pretty sure you've shot that rifle.
About the 783. What they had before the 783 was the 770 and the 710. I looked up the 770 because I was looking this up. You could get the 770 in 7mm rim mag and I believe 300 Win mag. I had years ago when I was young, I had looked at a 770 and I got talked out of them.
Nice catch.
770 and 308 because I got talked out of them because the salesman told me that there's lots of plastic parts in there and I wouldn't trust a 308 to it, is what he said. And that makes sense. I don't really trust large recoil to plastic parts, but they make it in 300 Win mag. Or they made it in 300 Win mag. And it's not just the Remingtons. Every company made a rifle like this. And they have fixed it, it seems like. The 783, the Ruger American, the Savage Axis and Axis 2, the Mossberg Patriot. All of those rifles, I think, are very good, trustworthy hunting rifles. But the older ones, they'd be like, dude, I got a 300 Win mag. I got a Simmons 3x9 on it.
Oh,
like, oh, cool. What is it? Oh, it's a Remington 770. I smoked a deer at 150 yards with it. I mean, it's just it that bothers me, and it's also the person that buys that bothers me too. But
I'll say this. So the 783, at least mine, is short action. I don't know if they make a long action version. I don't think they do.
I don't know.
But there is no way in hell I would trust something like a 300 Win Mag in that thing. No way.
If they did, I would.
No,
not Remington. Screw that.
don't trust anything with Remington right now. I'll give them this. That was a relatively new buy, and the gun's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not.
But I picked up a brand new scoped combo Remington 700 ADL a couple years ago for $350 in 308, and it was a new Remington, and it holds tight groups. Everything locks up real well. It absolutely
that's a solid gun.
Absolutely slays the deer.
Yeah, I think that was actually the better of the two for sure.
But mine's 6 inches longer barrel than his, and for hunting I would trade that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, mine travels better.
Yeah,
we don't know how it does on deer. I'm not getting into that. Okay, so my last one is it's a group of guns, and the specific group is the snub nose revolver. I know people absolutely love the snub noses, and for carry, maybe for backup, I'm for them for backup. Backup guns, in my mind, can be smaller. They can be a little less accurate because the odds of needing them, you're going to be in some crap if you need them, and you just need something to toss off to somebody. But I digress. But as a primary carry, or even just going out to have fun, they're not overly fun to shoot. They're not super accurate. They don't make the best of the round that they're given. So this is a Rossi 357 Magnum 2-inch barrel snub nose revolver. And in a 2-inch barrel snub, you don't run 357 mag. You just don't. You run 38 special plus Ps, because the 357 mag has so much extra powder that you're just making a flash at the end of it. You're not actually utilizing the powder, in which case, why then do you need such a heavy frame? So I guess this is more specifically towards the 357 Magnum versions.
Okay.
But
then I will not say what I was going to say.
because of that, 357 Magnum is just too much for a snub.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comfortable. It's not super accurate, and you're not utilizing the round. If you're gonna get, 357 Magnum is a hell of a round.
Out of a 4-inch barrel.
Exactly. It will outperform 9mm. Ballistically speaking, when you shoot 357 Magnum, it's going to hit harder. It's going to shoot flatter. It's just going to outperform. But when you put that in a barrel this size, it gets rid of any benefit that you would get. So that is my fifth one. What you got for your fifth?
My fifth one is the entire SIG Classic line of pistols. And mind you, I have plenty of experience with these. Every one in the SIG Classic line, as a matter of fact. They are top heavy. They are heavy. They are under capacity.
I like how that was two different. Top heavy and heavy.
They're under capacity. They have triggers. Controls are at best. And price is up there.
How much are they usually run? 800 to 1,000, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's pre-pandemic prices of 800 to 1,000.
Mm-hmm. They're good guns. They work. They shoot well. They're accurate. I hate them.
There's a difference between reliable guns and fun guns, or enjoyable guns, I guess should say.
Like if I was a police officer and I was issued a SIG 229 or 226, I would bitch about it a lot, but I wouldn't not trust it.
Right. It's not like if you were given a SIG P320.
Oh, I would still carry that.
I'm kidding.
They
fixed that.
Glock 17 backup. Whatever. Yeah. Do you have a bonus entry in this category?
I do not have a bonus entry
because
in this particular one. I would love to hear your bonus entry.
Prepare to have your feathers ruffled. The Barrett M82A1.
I don't mind that at all.
It's dumb.
You know what? I'm gonna bounce off that and just say 50 caliber in general.
Hey, the M82A1 especially is a 3 MOA gun. I'll say this again. The M82A1 is a 3 MOA gun. That is roughly equivalent to 3 inches at 100 yards. I mean,
I think that says it all.
I mean, it's $12,000.
That's.
I mean, I could do that with a good enough AR.
You could,
a just as good AR.
I was going to say, ARs are typically about 2 MOA.
A poverty pony with decent ammo is going to do 2 inches.
Yeah. I would not doubt whether my arrow build
it's not a 50, but...
Right. But I'm sorry. And it's typically not most firearms shooters. It's people who are in video games and just see a big round. 50 cal is not a sniper round. It is a spray and pray round, specifically made to take out vehicles from a long distance.
The BMG stands for Browning Machine Gun. It was designed to be shot out of a machine gun.
Yep. It
was designed to be laid down on the target. And when it hits the target, it is utterly devastating.
The interesting fact about the 50 BMG, the round itself was not uniquely developed. It is a scaled up 30-06. They just took a 30-06, scaled it up every single bit, and ran that, which
it makes sense because they upscaled the 1919 to make the M2.
Right. And I mean, it would almost make sense, except that's not the way physics works. You can take a round like a 30-06, which is extremely stable at long distance because of the twist rates that you're running and because of the bullet weight and the coefficient, blah, blah, blah. The 50 did not do that. And
you can get specialty 50 cal ammo.
You can.
That is super nice, but it won't fit in a Barrett.
Yep. All right.
So that's what we got.
That is what we've got for our 5 guns that we hate. Thank you guys for hanging out with us in the first Leadheads podcast. Again, this is Work, and we got Builder here.
Hey. And if you enjoyed what you listened to, make sure to like and subscribe and hit us up on Patreon as well. So we need it. We need everything you got. Somebody just bought a truck.
It's true. He did just buy a truck. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.